Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Reach out to us directly, tmosso@the1916company.com. Today we discuss the Moser Cie Venturer Small Second. In rose gold, this dress watch, made in Schaffhausen, Switzerland, is 39 millimeters in diameter, 12.2 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, 44.7 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. Be advised the strap is not broken in. It is extremely stiff, so I'm pulling it tight. It is exaggerating the constriction as well as the breadth of the watch across the wrist. So you can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, this watch is a good fit. Just looking at where the lugs are relative to the edge of my wrist, you can see I've got a lot of clearance. So you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 to 14 centimeters circumference. So this is a unisex option if you are a lady with a slightly larger wrist or a taste for larger men's watches. Now, while it doesn't look thin, it is. It has a bubble-like sapphire, a domed bezel, and it stands only 12.2 millimeters above the wrist, and then about 2.2 millimeters disappears into the wrist when it's strapped down, so it actually sits much lower than that. So just my experimentation with the size has determined this will fit under any kind of a dress cuff. Here's the over-the-top shot. And so you can see this always exaggerates the width of the watch, but the lugs are still inboard at the edge of my wrist. Strap, very luxurious, but like I said, not broken in, so initially stiff. A glossy, medium brown, large rectangular scale alligator leather, symmetrical rectangular scale, so an expensive cut of the animal. And then on the bottom, calf skin. And you can see we have a monotone stitch here with a sheer cut side that's been lacquered for fine detailing. There's a little bit of bolstering or volume in there, so it's been stuffed to give it some volume. And then we have a pin buckle that is Moser branded, featuring polish and satin brushing. The case also features polish and satin brushing with Moser's distinctive scalloped lugs. These concaves are achieved by first machining and then hand polishing. This can't be done by machining or stamping alone. Then we have a brushed profile on both sides, although the crown hides it a bit on the 3 o'clock side. We have a conical, knurled Moser branded crown, and then a broad domed bezel and a bubble-like sapphire over a dial that features a metallic sunburst. Now you can see that the outer face of the dial is somewhat downwardly inclined, so there's a very soft crease between the center disc and then the hour track. The individual indices are gold, polished and faceted to pop against the dial. We have countersunk small seconds with a concentric pattern internally, leaf or foy style hands, and then we have a stop seconds function, so you can set the watch to a reference time. 30 meters water resistant push down crown. On the back we have the Moser HMC 327, a 32 jewel movement that's nicely sized for this case. It's a fairly big caliber. And the hand and glove effect of movement in watch is always a hallmark of a true manufacturer. The movement is manual wind with a 3-day power reserve. There's a power reserve indicator on the back, so this watch is a very subtle complication. It features a free sprung balance with a full balance bridge for greater shock resistance. And then it also includes a overcoil hairspring, which you can see easily from here. The overcoil hairspring, giving it a property of concentric breathing in any position. So because of the centered mass of the overcoil, no matter the position of this watch on your wrist or on your desk, it is going to keep very consistent time. It beats away at a slow beat rate, 18,000 vibrations per hour. It pivots on 27 joules. And as I mentioned, there is a hacking or stop seconds function. Now what's impressive is that Moser creates its own balance, hairspring, and escapement. Fabricating these parts inside a company is not easy, as most brands, even most manufacturers that make movements, will outsource these components. With Moser, it's considered to be part of the process of building the movement. You can see the little hacking lever adjacent to the wheel. You can also see that the watch features a silicone anchor. Taking a close look, you can see that the anchor of the escapement is made of silicone to reduce total oscillating mass and the impact of magnetism on the watch. Now, that silicon anchor would be one part of the watch that Moser does not make, but balance, hairspring, and escape wheel in-house via precision engineering. An exemplary dress watch from an independent in German-speaking Switzerland that does things its own way and does them well. If you love this consummate dress watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.